Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is the cold hard truth about the Clippers this season. So that's the topic I'm going to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, our Dreamerspro Max community, online sports platform is online. It's available. I think is one of the fastest growing. It's going to be one of the fastest growing online sports community out there. It's a place where you can go and start basketball debates, discussions, chat live during games about any game that's going on, any game of your choice. You can get in there and chat live with each other. Obviously, where we do post game interactions and where you can answer questions. And we can just share. People get to share their feedback. Where you get to consume exclusive content that you get nowhere else, and so many other fun things that you'll be able to do on the platform. So if you guys are interested, we have it linked in the description below. Check it out and get 7 days of free access. So just go out there and check it out if you're interested. Make sure you click the description below. Anyway, let me get into the topic here. So listen, the Clippers just came off a very disappointing loss to the Washington Wizards. We were actually live chatting about that. Live chatting during that game last night. And, going into that game, first of all, Kawhi played. Paul George didn't play. I forgot the reason he went out. I think he was feeling some type of soreness or tightness, but Paul George didn't play. That kind of seems to be the story with this team this year. It's always somebody. Kawhi didn't play the game before. He was yanked before the tip-off. Then they told Reggie Jackson that he has to start. And then now Kawhi played, and it's just the story. Just a story of this team. Like, there's always some kind of issue going on with the team. Now, they started off well. Game started off well. Kawhi Leonard came out hitting some shots, doing his thing. But the first bad omen that I noticed was the turnovers. It was absurd. Clippers had like 7 turnovers in the first quarter. And I was like, okay. Because of these turnovers, the Washington Wizards kept on capitalizing on the turnovers. And then it kept them in the game, which speaks to the sloppy play of the Clippers. But also, it speaks to the fact of the issues that I have with their current guards, the point guards and 2 guards, Reggie Jackson, Lou Williams, Patrick Beverley. And these guys are just not very good decision makers of the 3. What's his name? Patrick Beverley is the best decision maker out there of those guys. But these guys just have terrible, and you can see it. You can see it. Now, the Clippers were able to get a lead on the Washington Wizards. I think they had like a 16-point lead towards the end of the second quarter. And then they gave up the lead, and I think the Wizards were able to cut it down to single digits. And I was like, this is a terrible, terrible way to end the quarter. And I chatted about this during the live chat. I was like, listen, this is a horrible way to close out the second quarter. Then what happened in the second half of the game? You could tell that their offense was stagnant. They just could not run their offense properly. They couldn't get any entry post to Kawhi Leonard because the Washington Wizards, give him credit, they were fronting him and denying him the entire game. We were talking about that in the chat. And I'm like, listen, you got to find a way to be able to get this guy the ball. They couldn't do it. They couldn't even get their best player the ball because the Washington Wizards said, listen, we're gonna load up on whatever side of the floor Kawhi Leonard is on, and we're gonna force other guys to make decisions, make plays, and make shots. And that's essentially what they did. And also during that game, Kawhi was in foul trouble. Like, he picked up so many fouls. I think he even had 3 fouls in the first half. Then in the second half, but in the third quarter, he picked up his 4th foul. So he was playing with a lot of foul trouble, and I understand it. And given the fact that they didn't have Marcus Morris Sr., and you're now left with these guys to make decisions, the Lou Williams, the Reggie Jacksons of the world, the Patrick Beverleys of the world, the offense was just complete. They couldn't run their offense. They couldn't run their offense properly. They couldn't run the offense triangle offensive sets. How can you run the triangle when you can't even get the ball into the post of Kawhi Leonard? You can't run the triangle if you can't post the ball. So since they couldn't post the ball, they couldn't run the triangle. So they were running this type of motion offense, which is driving and kicking. Some points they would hit open guys. And I think another issue that the Clippers were having and have been having, these guys are overpassing. They're overpassing. You have a clean look. Instead of taking the shot, you pump fake, guy swings, and then you're now swinging the ball again, and the shot clock is running down, and you're now guys are having to take these buzzer beater type of shots. They passed up way too many open shots, like way too many. They were overpassing way too much, which is something I noticed. Secondly, guys like Nicholas Batum and others were not hitting shots. Clean looks. right? Nicholas Batum missed too many open 3-pointers. It was only at the end of the game he was finally able to hit an open a 3-pointer, and Kawhi Leonard at a certain point got free in that fourth quarter where he just came down and hit a transition 3 and was able to bring the game, I think, within 2 points, I believe it was. So they couldn't get the ball to Kawhi Leonard very clearly. They couldn't execute their offense properly down the stretch. And there were just so many late game execution issues that I saw during that game. Now, let's talk about the Clippers, because now we're going into All-Star break and there's a pause. There's going to be a pause in games, right? And I think this is the time for the team to regroup. Okay, first things first. Trades. You guys know we did a video about potential trades that they need to make. We did that video yesterday. If you guys haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out on the channel. We just produced that video yesterday, so you can go there and check that out, where we spoke about potential trade options that they could make. And it turned out that probably, if we're looking at a point guard, a player that they could potentially go out there and get, I think of all the guys that I listed in that video, I think their best option could probably be Lonzo Ball. He's a 6'6" point guard that can defend. He's shooting a good field goal percentage, shooting a very good 3-point percentage. He's really improved his 3-point percentage. He's shooting above 80% from the free throw line. He's really improved. He improved by 20 plus percentage points. Last season, he was shooting 56% from the free throw line. This year, he's shooting, I think, 77, close to 80% from the free throw line. So the guy's really improved as a free throw shooter. He's getting you steals. He can assist the ball at a high level, but he can also play defense. He can also push the tempo of the offense, which is something that Kawhi Leonard, Tyronn Lue, and Paul George have lamented, especially towards certain end of games. If you look at that Milwaukee Bucks game when they were up 100-96, they couldn't even push the tempo of the offense. But if you have a guy like Lonzo Ball who can get a lot of outlet passes, kind of get them some easy baskets in transition, I think that would help the Clippers a lot. I don't know if they can go after him. I think they can make their salaries work. Last night, Luke Kennard looked like, man, don't trade me. He was hitting shots like, no, I don't want to be traded. But I think he's somebody they can definitely go try to go get. So they can. One of the things they need to work on is trying to get a new point guard. Another thing is making sure players are healthy. Guys are rested. Too many games. Guys are missing games, coming in and out. You saw 2 games ago, Marcus Morris Sr. had a concussion, so he was out for the last 3 days. He couldn't finish that game, and he didn't play last night. Hopefully, over this break, guys are able to get healthy, heal up. Now, going into the second half, I just mentioned injuries and trying to see if they can acquire another piece. They need to work on their late game execution. Guys need to be able to finish games. If you look at them early in the season, they were much better late in games. But this time around, they've been pretty bad. Kawhi Leonard, I've said it a number of times, he has not been closing out games the way he needs to. Simple and plain, he's not been good enough. He's my favorite player in the world currently, but he's not been good enough. I'm not going to put every single blessed thing on him, because last night, again, guys were missing open shots. Kawhi can't make everybody's shot, right? He can miss his, but then if Nicholas Batum and others are missing their shots, what the hell does that have to do with Kawhi Leonard? Nothing. So as a team, they need to execute better down the stretch in crunch time minutes. These are, I think, after the last 4 minutes in a quarter with games that are within 5 points. So I think these guys need to definitely try to execute down the stretch. Their defense, they need to improve their defense. As I said earlier, they were improving their defense, and then it just started to they started to regress. But at one point, they were giving up 107 points per game. Now it's up to 109. That's way too many points to be given up in a game. Now, the Clippers do some great things. They're number 1 team in the NBA in free throw shooting. They're a good free throw shooting team, hitting 84% of their 84.5% of their free throws. They're the number 1 shooting team in the NBA as far as 3-pointers, making 41.9% of their 3-pointers. So they're doing some things pretty well. They're one of the top 5 teams. Top 10 teams in offense, in scoring offensively, and one of the top 5 teams in 3-pointers made. But again, they need to improve their defense, and they really need to focus on their defense, get their guys healthy, and guys need to play together. They need some continuity going into the playoffs. If we take a snapshot of all of the games, they're now 24-14 in these first 34, 38 games or whatever it is. They need to now come back and really try to work on these things, polish up their offense, improve their defense to go into the playoffs, right? This Clipper team, as I'm looking at them now, with their lack of focus and concentration, their lack of execution down the stretch, if the playoffs are beginning next week, this Clippers team will get bounced probably in the second round. I'm just being brutally honest. They will get bounced. They're not ready for the playoffs. They're not. defensively, execution-wise, and they still have some personnel issues. They're not ready for the playoffs. They're not ready. The Clippers are not a championship team right now. I'm saying it right now. If the playoffs started today, the Clippers would not win the NBA title. As they're playing right now, I don't think the Clippers are going to win the NBA title. Let me just say that flat out. I don't think they're good enough to win the NBA title. They have some bad habits. They're not good defensively. They cannot execute down in late stretches of the game. And they need to be better. Simple and plain. They need to be better, and they're not good enough to win an NBA title right now. Now, they can improve these things by really, really hunkering down, improving their defense, playing games together. Guys have missed too many games this season. It's actually absurd at this point. Guys need to get healthy. They need to start playing together. The last 20 games of the season, I expect everybody to be playing those games. For God's sakes, these guys you have the best medical facilities that these teams can provide. Play the games. 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 Like, it's enough. Guys are missing. Play your games, right? This is what you're getting compensated for. Show up and play. Like, it's enough for guys missing here, missing there. Show up and play. If these guys are still, 1 week left in the season, so-and-so just missed 3 games, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You need continuity. These guys need a rhythm together as a team, because when you get into the playoffs, rotations tighten up. You're not going to be playing a 10-man rotation. You're probably going to be playing 7 to 8. So you need to know who those guys are. These guys need to have a chemistry with each other. You can't have a situation where late in games, Tyronn Lue is bringing in Lou Williams, checking this guy out, bringing this guy. I'm like, no. It's like they're still experimenting on the fly. At the end of games, you need to know exactly what your lineups and rotations are going to be. And now they don't even have that. So guys need to play. Like, enough is enough. Guys have missed a lot of games already this season. It's a shortened season. They've already missed enough games. They're going to have about 5 or 6 days off to kind of lick their wounds and get better. So these are the things that I expect to see from the Clippers, and they need to play better going into the second half. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about all the things I just mentioned about this team? What are your honest opinions about the team? Do you think they're ready? What are the things you think they need to work on? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Again, if you enjoyed this content and pretty much all the things that we do from that we produce from Dreamerspro, be sure to check out the Dreamerspro Max platform, because we do this and much more in that platform. So be sure to check it out and get 7 days of free access. So make sure you check that out. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.